Hey everybody, Fifth Horseman here, playing more Kerbal Space Program, and I have cleared out Minmus of science, except for apparently the lesser flats, which I'm a little surprised. I thought I apparently got the surface sample, but I missed the mystery goo in the mobile materials lab, so maybe I'll go back there in the moderately near future. But I have cleared out the science, and I think I may have researched this. No, because I researched this at the end of the last episode, so I didn't even get enough science from all that to research the next thing, which I have to research, which is this one. Not for anything here, although batteries and better solar panels are always welcome. It's for what this unlocks, which I think is then going to cost 300 science to get the antenna I need, or the dish, I should say, I need to get to an interplanetary probe. And there was some discussion on my YouTube page about... actually, let me go ahead and... Anyway, there was some discussion on the YouTube page about getting a ship out to Duna without the antennas or the dishes capable of controlling it and setting up all the maneuver nodes ahead of time. I actually considered doing that, but then I changed my mind when I found out that the flight computer doesn't seem to have the ability to... I want to do this right at sunrise is what I'm doing here. I was looking through what the flight computer could do, and I don't see any options for that flight computer to do anything other than control the ship. Like, I could probably get the thing to Duna, but I can't do any science there. I couldn't activate action groups even or anything like that. So I don't know what it could possibly do when it got to Duna other than come back and maybe get a ship returned from Duna credit or something like that. But that and I also kind of fiddled with the map mode and everything to see how easy it would be to get that done. And it turns out that maybe it's just me. I don't know. I don't have what it takes to get that done. So instead, we are going to. I'm going to do two things here. I'm going to launch this here. Okay, I'm going to get this thing going, and then we'll discuss what we're doing here. So what I'm going to do is I am going to modify my contracts, or not, I'm sorry, I'm going to stop modifying my contracts so that they give me science as a side effect at least until I unlock those nodes. I don't have what it takes to get a ship to Duna and back home without controlling it. I have accepted that. Maybe one day I will feel comfortable doing that. But that day is not today. So what we are doing is Bill is launching up, you probably saw the name, the Quad Satellite Delivery System. What this is going to do is it's going to put up the first 4 satellites of my... of what's going to be my relay network of satellites around Kerbin to help me control automated craft that I'm going to be launching. And because I want to launch more automated craft whenever I can, because they're cheaper. You don't have to worry about snacks and things like that. So the first ship though going up is manned, so that I can have control over these things even if we're not in direct line of sight to Kerbal Space Center. Once I get these 4 satellites up, then I will be able to launch anything, basically. That's the plan, at least. I'll be able to launch any ship up to... it's a little bit farther over than I want to be. This is when I want to be at about 20,000 apoapsis. I'm always doing my gravity turns slightly faster than is ideal, so I'm just going to ride the top of this... circle here, at least until we get to 30,000 or so. Okay, it is time to see what this bad boy looks like. There he is. We got 4 satellites coated in solar panels with a huge dish and antennae on them. And we're out of these things now. Oh, look at the aerodynamic. Causes those things to go crazy. But let's go ahead and ditch that too. And we actually don't want our engines running. We are already at 100,000 apoapsis. We actually want our apoapsis at 50 or at 550,000, or yeah, 550,000 meters or 550 kilometers. So I'll tell you what, I'm just going to burn up to that. Okay, we are basically at 550 at our apoapsis, and we've pulled our periapsis up over the ground, but still below the atmosphere. So we'll have to fix that when we get up to our apoapsis. Also, when we get up to our apoapsis, I need to change my orbital period to be... oh, geez, I don't remember what it was. Hold on a second. 51 minutes. That's what I want. Here's the thing. At 550 kilometers, one orbit around Kerbin takes an hour and 8 minutes. And I figured this out by... I'll just tell you, I use HyperEdit to put a ship up there to see what its orbit would be. So what I need to do is I need to do 3/4 of that, which is 51 minutes. Once I get this guy into a 51-minute orbit, then I can, every time he's at apoapsis, I can drop off a satellite, burn that satellite up to the 550 by 550 or an hour and 8-minute orbit, and then it'll be set up perfectly, and then all 4 of them, I'll dump them off one by one. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, just watch and I'll show you what it looks like. So we're going to speed up to this maneuver node here. And this maneuver node doesn't actually mean anything other than the time. And I could have set up a apoapsis alarm. We are 3 minutes from apoapsis. When we get down to about 30 seconds or so... Whoa! Okay. I'm going to burn this up so my orbital period gets to be 51 minutes exactly. And I'm going to try not to do a crappy burn. Okay, there we go. 49... 50, and then 51. That's close enough for me. Okay, now, next time we're at apoapsis, I'm just going to set up an alarm here. An apoapsis alarm. 1 minute before is perfectly fine. That gives me plenty of time to do what I need to do. We add an alarm. Now, I've already activated the antennae on these guys. That's all they need to be able to talk to each other and to Kerbal Space Center. The dishes are to talk to the current ship, which will be whatever probe I'm sending off. But there's not much to do until we get around, so let's go ahead and... I could have dropped a satellite there, I suppose, but I'm not going to. Oh, also, just so you see, we lost our fairings. Oops, we lost our fairings, but we kept 51% of our ship by putting parachutes on it, so that's pretty nice. Hey, look at we got a connection with Kerbal Space Center. So let's head up to apoapsis here. And now what we're going to do is we are going to, in turn, we're going to do these guys one by one. We are going to activate this guy's dish. Then we are going to decouple him. Then we're going to switch to him. We're going to aim this at the active vessel. Just so this is so I don't have to worry about it. No connection. Oh, he doesn't have a connection with Kerbal Space Center. Why didn't I pay attention to that? The first one has to actually have a connection to Kerbal Space Center before I detach it. Well, that's no good. Okay. Well, we're going to have to deal with that. Things I should have thought of. We need him to get to apoapsis here. And hopefully when he's at apoapsis, he'll have a connection to Kerbal Space Center. It looks like he will, which is good. Okay, there's his connection to Kerbal Space Center. So we can actually just do this. We're one orbit behind of where we wanted to be. But oh well. So, now, he wants to burn prograde. Oh, we can now aim him at current active vessel. That's basically what these guys are always going to do. I need to also watch his electric charge, especially if we're facing directly away from the sun like we are right now. But now, he needs to burn prograde to get his orbital period up to an hour and 8 minutes. And we need to stage his engine. So I'm just watching this. When he gets to an hour and 8 minutes... There we go. That's close enough for me. He is done. Now we can switch back to our ship. And now we have to go around another orbit. We do have plenty of snacks, by the way, for this mission. Yeah, see, he has yet to eat a snack. This is nothing compared to going to Minmus. So, Bill, orbit your way around here. Oh, you have scientific data you can do. EVA report. Go ahead and do it. I'm surprised that we haven't... Oh, Badlands. Sweet. EVA report over the Badlands. We'll take that. I think we have a contract for scientific data over Kerbin. We should probably have our apoapsis alarm. I gotta remember to add those each time. But now watch, he's gonna come around. And look at this, we have a connection to Kerbal Space Center and a connection to the other satellite, which is kind of cool. So now we're going to activate this guy's dish. Let's activate it and set it as a target to the active vessel. Then we're going to decouple him. We're going to switch to him. We're going to activate his engine. And then he needs to go prograde as well. Just getting him out of the way of the other ship. He needs to aim prograde and get his orbital time up to 1 hour and 8 minutes. Oops, 10 seconds too many. These guys have plenty of fuel. I actually have enough fuel in them to deorbit them when they become way too old. There we go. That's good enough for me. And now, this guy has a connection to Kerbal Space Center, which is kind of cool. Now if we watch the satellite mode here. Note we have a connection to Kerbal Space Center through most of our orbit now due to our connectivity to those satellites. But it looks like we're not going to have one this orbit, which is problematic, we will say. I'm just going to have to accept that and go around another one. See, but now here, watch this. See now, as long as one of these two guys maintains his connection to Kerbal Space Center. Now, even though I don't have a direct connection to Kerbal Space Center, I will be able to control these satellites. So we're going to activate this dish. We are going to set its target to be the active vessel, so I don't forget. We are going to decouple him. We're going to switch to him. We are going to activate his engine. And we're going to get him up to 1 hour and 8 minutes. And I'm going to show you something that I'm going to do. It's a moderate cheat, but I accept the cheatiness, and I hope you will too. There we go. That's about as far off as we were on the other side, but we'll leave it this way. And then ideally here, I'm a little bit concerned about this guy. Why doesn't this guy get us a connection to Kerbal Space Center? Did I forget to turn on his omnidirectional antenna? He should have power. His antenna is on. He is connected. So, okay, yeah, just for some reason it didn't show it. So let's switch back to this guy. And okay, we're already getting close to, well, no, we've still got a minute. So let's go ahead and turn on this guy's dish. Let's target it at the active vessel. Let's detach. Switch to. Rotate. Get his engine on. And then get him up to 1 hour and... Oops, let's actually turn his computer on. 1 hour and 8 minutes. Okay, that's close enough for me. Okay, now, all of these satellites... I have to switch to this one, apparently, to turn him on. There we go. Now, everybody sees everybody else. That's the important thing. But now, let's go to... Actually, we need to name these guys, so I might as well do it now. Relay Alpha. Okay, he has no power, At least his name has been made relay beta. See, that's the problem with these guys. If we actually focus on them, they, let's actually get him into the sun. There we go. And we might as well get this other guy into the sun. Relay gamma for him. And then our very last ship is going to be relay delta. And it is time for Bill to come home after a successful mission. Tell you what, we're actually going to try to plan his return over Kerbal Space Center here. We're going to try to plan his return, I should say, to be over Kerbal Space Center. Okay, Bill. Let's burn you retrograde to bring your periapsis down to, say, 20-ish. And sadly, we're going to be coming in on the dark side, but there's not much you can do about that. We have so much fuel, I'm actually going to try to land this thing in completeness, but I can, if necessary. Actually, let me stage all of these things. Oh. And then the next thing to go, I'm gonna put both of these on the same thing, because that's basically a panic. If I think he can't survive, I'm going to pull the chute. By then, it's probably going to be too late. But, you know, we could try. Okay, I've turned off SAS because it seems like this thing keeps its own orientation pretty well. The only thing I'm concerned about is if things perhaps blow up. But they're already cooling down. So I think we're good as far as that's concerned. Looks like we're not even going to make Kerbal Continent. Oh yeah, not even close, but oh well, water landing might be a little bit better with all this stuff because it won't hit the thing and then fall over. I can keep the thrusters going. And actually, I've changed my mind about the parachute. I'm going to put it first before the decoupler. Okay, we are slowing down to 200 meters per second. That's when I'm going to hit the chutes for no better reason than, hey, that's what I want to. As soon as we hit the water, I'm going to cut the gas. And we just nicely sink and recover before, oh, before we lose anything. And we completed a contract and we got an entire science for it. But now, the more important thing than that is our poor little satellite network. I'm going to start with Alpha here. And here comes the cheating. I'm going to hit Alt-H to bring up HyperEdit. And we're going to go into Orbit Editor. And we are going to go, we're going to do a simple orbit. Actually, no, we want complex, graphical. Yeah, you know what? I think I want graphical. We want the inclination to be 0, the eccentricity to be 0. And then we want to bring him around to here-ish. Yeah, basically what I'm doing here is I'm accepting the fact that I'm not good enough to get these things perfect, and they're going to wander. So then I'm going to set him to be like that. Then I'm going to switch over to beta. And then we're going to go into graphical and get his epic down to there-ish. That looks pretty good. Okay, and then we can switch to gamma, and then say okay to him. And the last one to deal with is delta. And then we get him looking like a square, basically. And we are good. And our satellites are basically set correctly. And now all I need to do is every time they get kind of out of whack is to reset them. And I'm totally willing to do that because I don't think it's fair to have to fiddle with these guys every single time I want to do something. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. I definitely enjoyed doing it. I learned a lot, and I hope you did too. I am Fifth Horseman, and I will, as always, talk at you later.